Have you ever found yourself drained after agreeing to tasks you didn't really want to do? In a fast-paced world filled with demands, saying no can seem like a selfish luxury. Yet if we look at Buddhist monks and Gautama Buddha's core teachings, we find that setting boundaries is crucial for safeguarding our well-being and maintaining genuine compassion. In this guide, we'll explore why learning to say no is both an act of self-preservation and a step toward deeper focus, ultimately allowing you to live more mindfully and meaningfully. Why it's hard to say no. Many of us struggle to say no because we fear disappointing others or damaging relationships. Social norms often equate yes with being helpful and no with being selfish. From Buddha's perspective, however, genuine helpfulness is rooted in skillful intention rather than perpetual compliance. When we overcommit, we risk scattering our energy, leaving ourselves too exhausted to serve where we truly can make a difference. This resistance to saying no is also fueled by attachment to approval, status, or an ideal self-image of being endlessly accommodating. Buddha taught that clinging to such attachments magnifies suffering. Imagine a pot constantly overflowing because it never says enough. Just as that pot eventually wastes resources, we waste time and emotional bandwidth when we say yes to everything. Recognizing this pattern is the first step towards setting healthier boundaries. It might feel uncomfortable at first, but learning to say no is less about rejecting people and more about affirming your own capacity. You can't pour from an empty cup. By temporarily stepping back, you reserve energy to contribute meaningfully, reflecting Buddha's insight that restraint can pave the way for deeper kindness and authenticity. Buddha's teachings on boundaries. Though ancient Buddhist texts don't use the modern term boundaries, the essence of boundary setting appears in concepts like right speech and right action from the Eightfold Path. These teach us to speak and act in ways that align with our well-being and that of others. Sometimes that alignment means respectfully declining a request. Saying no can be an extension of compassion, ensuring that you don't overextend yourself to the point where resentment or burnout overshadow your generosity. Additionally, monks often follow Vinaya, a code of discipline specifying the limits of their behaviors, schedules, and possessions. These guidelines protect their energy for meditation, study, and acts of service. This structured approach provides them the freedom to focus on what truly matters rather than being consumed by endless obligations. For lay people, learning from this monastic framework might involve personal codes or guidelines, clear decisions about how much extra work you'll take on, how you'll spend your weekends, or which community activities you can realistically support. Ultimately, when Buddha encouraged non-attachment, he was also encouraging us not to be enslaved by guilt, people-pleasing, or social pressures. Proper boundaries let you engage the world with sincerity and balance, rather than running yourself ragged. By integrating these principles, you can say no from a place of calm discernment rather than conflict or fear. The power of mindful decision-making. One of the most effective ways to protect your energy is through mindful decision-making, pausing before impulsively saying yes. In Buddhism, mindfulness, sati, is the practice of fully inhabiting the present moment, which can be applied to your choices. Rather than automatically agreeing to a task out of habit or social anxiety, take a moment to breathe, assess your capacity, and reflect on your core values. Monks often engage in short meditative pauses when making commitments. These pauses let them check their intentions. Are they acting out of genuine compassion, or do they feel pressured? You can adopt a similar approach in everyday life. The next time someone asks you for a favor or extends an invitation, try a brief mental inventory. Do I realistically have the time and energy for this? Does it align with my priorities, or will it stretch me too thin? By investigating these questions mindfully, you lay the groundwork for decisions that honor your well-being and the quality of your contributions. This practice also fosters clarity and self-respect. Buddha emphasized that discipline and mindfulness cultivate a sense of calm confidence. Knowing when to say no becomes a conscious act of self-care. allowing you to remain centered and truly present for the commitments that do align with your higher intentions. Compassionate. No, a Buddhist angle. Saying no doesn't have to be harsh or dismissive. It can be done with metta or loving kindness. In Buddhism, compassion extends not just to others, but also to oneself. When you graciously decline an extra project or a social event you're not up for, you protect your mental health and free up emotional space. You're also respecting the person who asked by not giving a half-hearted yes that could lead to subpar follow-through or hidden resentment. Compassionate no's often involve right speech, being clear, truthful, yet gentle. For instance, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I can't commit to that right now," or "I appreciate the opportunity, but my schedule won't allow me to give this the attention it deserves." Such phrasing signals respect for the other person's request while remaining firm on your boundary. Buddha taught that genuine kindness begins with self-understanding. If saying yes to a request jeopardizes your emotional equilibrium, it may not be truly kind in the grand scheme. Compassionate boundaries ensure you don't deplete yourself or inadvertently harm others by overextending. This approach stands as an antidote to guilt-induced compliance. You remain rooted in empathy, but refuse to sacrifice your well-being for appearances or social expectations. Aligning no with your values. Setting boundaries becomes far easier when they are anchored in a clear sense of values. Monks center their lives on spiritual growth and service, which means they regularly say no to distractions that pull them away from meditation, study, or community responsibilities. Similarly, by identifying your core values, whether that's family time, creative pursuits, or ethical commitments, you gain a benchmark for which requests deserve a yes and which don't. Think about how many times you've said yes to avoid feeling rude or to please someone in the moment, only to regret it later. Buddha's insight into right intention reminds us that sincere motivation matters more than superficial politeness. If you accept every invitation for fear of appearing selfish, you risk betraying your deeper goals. In the long run, perpetually sacrificing your values leads to a fractured sense of self and chronic stress. When you say no in alignment with your guiding principles, you build integrity. People come to respect your clarity and earnestness, even if they might be momentarily disappointed. And you'll feel less inner conflict, reinforcing your commitment to living authentically. This synergy of clarity and consistency is a hallmark of the monastic way, and it remains potent for anyone juggling modern obligations. Practical steps to protect energy and focus. While Buddhist wisdom offers a solid philosophical foundation, turning it into daily habits can be more challenging. Consider these actionable techniques. First, pause before responding. Monks often insert a short gap, a few breaths, before giving an answer, which keeps emotional reactions in check and allows for reasoned evaluation. Next, set clear limits by deciding in advance how many obligations you can handle each week, like capping after-work social events or volunteer hours. Having a predetermined threshold simplifies decisions on the spot. Another tactic is to offer alternatives. Sometimes a direct no can sting less if you propose a smaller gesture of help or a future time that works better, showing goodwill without compromising your boundaries. Practice mindful reflection by keeping a journal of when you said yes or no, noting whether it aligned with your core values or led to regret. Review these entries weekly to glean insights for fine-tuning your approach. Finally, focus on one priority at a time. Multitasking dilutes energy, so prioritize tasks sequentially and give each your full attention. If new requests clash with that priority, it becomes clearer why you might need to say no. Adopting even a few of these habits can dramatically reduce overwhelm. You'll begin to notice how smaller, well-chosen commitments lead to higher quality engagement and a healthier mental state, mirroring the mindful, disciplined approach monks embody. Learning to say no can feel uncomfortable, but with Buddhist-inspired mindfulness and compassion, it becomes an act of self-respect and clarity. Every time you safeguard your energy, you free yourself to invest deeply in the commitments that truly matter. Which tip will you try first? Let us know in the comments. And if you found these insights helpful, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more wisdom on living a balanced, purposeful life. May each well-placed know open doors to richer focus and greater peace. Have you ever wondered if there's a way to keep your mind steady when life seems like a non-stop whirlwind? In our busy modern world, filled with work stress, social media, and endless commitments, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Yet Buddha's timeless teachings remind us that true strength comes from within. By practicing compassion, mindfulness, and the art of letting go, we can develop unbreakable mental resilience that stands strong in any storm. Let's explore these age-old insights and discover how they fit perfectly into our everyday lives. The seeds of inner strength. Deep inside each of us lies the potential for a calm and unshakable mind. Buddha taught that our thoughts shape our reality. If we can learn to watch those thoughts without getting carried away, we start to see that many of our worries come from how we react, not from what's actually happening around us. Monks often sit quietly, allowing any stress or anxiety to float by like clouds in the sky. They don't fight these feelings, nor do they cling to them. Instead, they gently notice and let go. This simple practice shows that we don't have to be at war with our thoughts. By taking a few minutes each day to breathe deeply and observe our mind, we create space. That space is where our inner strength can grow. Rather than seeing problems as monsters we must defeat, we learn to see them as teachers. Every time we face a challenge, we have a chance to practice patience and peaceful awareness. In a world full of noise, even brief moments of quiet can make a world of difference. Through consistent practice, the seeds of our inner strength begin to blossom, helping us remain steady when life's storms roll in. Embracing impermanence. Buddha emphasized that nothing stays the same forever. Everything, good or bad, will eventually pass. Think about how seasons change or how childhood friendships evolve over time. Our lives are in constant motion, yet we often cling to certain situations or people, hoping they'll remain exactly as they are. This sets us up for disappointment. When change happens, we panic or feel betrayed by life. But by embracing impermanence, we learn to see change as natural. When monks sweep the temple grounds, they don't expect them to stay spotless forever. Leaves will fall again, dust will gather, and they'll sweep once more. In the same way, we can clean up our minds. We acknowledge stress or sadness, tend to it like clearing away debris, and recognize that new challenges will appear tomorrow. Instead of dreading this cycle, we learn to flow with it. By letting go of the need for total control, we reduce fear and frustration. We realize that tough times will pass, and so will moments of joy, making each experience precious. Accepting impermanence doesn't mean we stop caring. It means we appreciate each moment fully, knowing that change is part of life's grand design. Mindfulness in daily life. Mindfulness isn't just about sitting still for hours, though formal meditation is valuable. It's about bringing full attention to whatever you're doing right now. When monks wash their bowls, they focus entirely on that task. They feel the water, notice the shape of the bowl, and remain present. This practice helps them stay grounded and calm. In our busy lives, it's easy to eat a meal without truly tasting it or walk outside without noticing the sun's warmth. Mindfulness gives us a chance to slow down and reconnect with life's simple gifts. Even a short pause can reset our frazzled minds. For example, try taking 3 slow, deep breaths before replying to a stressful email. Or notice the textures and flavors in your lunch today. These small acts of attention train us to stay calm under pressure. Buddha taught that awareness of the present moment helps us avoid being pulled into regrets about the past or fears of the future. When we tune into what's happening right now, we create a gap where we can choose our response instead of blindly reacting. With consistent mindfulness, that gap grows wider. We become more patient, clearer in our thinking, and kinder in our actions, all of which are signs of true mental strength. The power of compassion. Compassion is at the heart of Buddha's teachings. It's also a core ingredient in building mental resilience. We often think we have to be tough and closed off to handle life's challenges, but true strength can involve a gentle, open heart. Monks show compassion by offering support to others, yet they also show kindness toward themselves. Many of us easily beat ourselves up when we make mistakes or fail to meet our goals. This self-criticism can wear us down over time. Compassion flips this cycle. When we see our own flaws with understanding, we create space for growth rather than guilt. Similarly, when we recognize that others are also struggling in their own ways, we reduce our anger and judgment. Offering a helping hand or a listening ear not only lifts someone else's spirits, but it also reminds us of our shared humanity. Over time, compassion dissolves the walls of isolation that make us feel alone in our problems. It nurtures a sense of connection and support. Far from being weak, compassion actually strengthens us from the inside. It promotes calmer minds, happier relationships, and a steady sense of purpose, even when life throws us curveballs. Practicing patience in a fast world. Our modern world often seems to reward speed above all else. We want fast internet, quick success, and instant solutions to our problems. But Buddha's lessons suggest a slower, more patient path can yield deeper and longer-lasting results. Monks who copy sacred texts line by line do so with care, not rushing the process. They understand that patience not only preserves quality, but also calms the mind. When we rush through life, we tend to make careless mistakes and become easily irritated. Practicing patience means easing up on ourselves and others. If a friend is late, or if our goals take longer to reach than we hoped, we can choose not to let impatience stir up stress. This choice helps keep us steady and balanced. Patience pairs well with mindfulness. When you sense your frustration building, maybe in a long checkout line or in traffic, pause and take a slow breath. Notice the tension in your body and gently relax it. This simple act can transform a moment of annoyance into a moment of clarity. Patience also applies to our personal growth. We won't become perfectly calm or wise overnight. Each day is a step, and every step counts. Embracing patience reminds us that steady progress, no matter how small, builds a foundation that can stand firm against life's toughest storms. Overcoming the grip of ego. The ego is that inner voice that craves admiration and panics at criticism. It pushes us to measure our worth by how much we achieve, how many compliments we get, or how we compare to others. Buddha taught that clinging to a fixed sense of me or mine leads to suffering because life is constantly changing. If we define ourselves by something unstable, like success, wealth, or even relationships, our happiness can collapse if those things shift. Monks often live simply and humbly to reduce the ego's demands. This doesn't mean you must give up your modern lifestyle. It means noticing when your ego starts to take over. For example, are you upset because someone questioned your idea, or because you think it threatens your identity? Learning to spot these ego traps gives you the power to step back and respond calmly. The ego can act like a bully, forcing us to chase an endless list of demands. Overcoming it even a little bit at a time brings immense peace. When the ego loses its grip, we see we're more than our achievements and failures. We become free to grow, adapt, and connect with others in a genuine way. That freedom directly boosts our mental resilience because our mood no longer swings wildly based on external approval, merging ancient wisdom with everyday life. It's easy to think that monk-like wisdom belongs only in temples or ancient texts, but Buddha's teachings are meant for everyone, everywhere. We just need to adapt them to our daily routines. Maybe you can't meditate for an hour at dawn, but you can take 5 minutes before work to sit quietly. Maybe you can't leave your job and live on a mountaintop, but you can bring compassion and patience into your team meetings and family dinners. Small, mindful habits, done consistently, have a big impact. Consider placing reminders on your phone to pause and breathe, or keep a short quote from Buddha on your desk to inspire you. When stress flares up, gently recall these teachings. the power of patience, the importance of compassion, the reality that everything changes. Each time you practice these insights, you strengthen the roots of your inner peace. Our modern world is full of distractions that can erode our calm if we're not careful. But when we consciously choose to merge old wisdom with new technology, like using a meditation app or sharing uplifting messages on social media, we tap into the best of both worlds. By weaving these practices into our busy schedules, we shape a life where ancient truths guide us through modern challenges, helping us stay grounded and strong, building a lifelong foundation. Growing unbreakable mental strength is a process that evolves over your entire life. Buddha never said the path was easy, only that it was possible for anyone willing to walk it. Each day offers a fresh chance to practice, whether it's through breathing exercises, kind gestures, or simple awareness. Think of monks who have spent decades refining their minds through meditation, kindness, and letting go. Their calm isn't an accident. It's the result of gentle and steady work. You too can cultivate this inner calm in your own environment. When obstacles arise, see them as tests that help you practice what you've learned. Over time, you'll notice a shift. Challenges don't knock you down as easily, and you bounce back quicker when they do. This resilience isn't about forcing yourself to be tough. It's about allowing wisdom and compassion to guide your thoughts and actions. Slowly but surely, you become like a sturdy tree, flexible enough to sway with the wind, but deeply rooted so you don't break. With commitment and patience, you can create an unshakable foundation that supports you through all of life's highs and lows. May these lessons spark a newfound sense of calm and strength in your life. By focusing on mindfulness, compassion, patience, and letting go of ego, you're building a mindset that can stand firm when times get tough. Remember, growth is a journey. Each step, no matter how small, brings you closer to the peace we all seek. If you'd like more guidance on bringing these teachings into your daily life, subscribe to Monk Mindset. Together, we'll walk this path toward a more grounded and resilient life. Have you ever wondered how monks from centuries past would handle the non-stop pace, digital overload, and shifting demands of modern life? While our era seems light years away from a secluded monastery, the core challenges, finding balance, managing stress, and living with purpose, remain strikingly familiar. Monks throughout history have tackled these dilemmas, developing approaches that emphasize inner awareness, compassion, and mindful discipline. What if the ancient wisdom they honed in secluded temples could actually help us thrive in today's bustling environment? In this script, we'll explore how monk practices intersect with modern realities, and how we can adapt time-tested principles to our daily hustle. The heart of monastic living. Monastic life is often associated with silence, simplicity, and solitude. At its core, however, it's about commitment to mindfulness, ethical conduct, and spiritual growth. Centuries ago, monks in various traditions, from Buddhist to Christian, set aside worldly pursuits to focus on the mind and spirit. Their days included meditation or prayer, communal work, and study, all structured around self-reflection and harmony with others. This might seem at odds with modern life, where endless to-do lists and digital connectivity keep our minds perpetually revved up. But at the root, we share a common desire to live meaningfully and minimize inner turmoil. While a monk's environment is designed to reduce distractions, our daily context bombards us with them. Yet the principles of monastic living, mindful presence, disciplined routine, and ethical engagement can bridge the gap. The aim isn't to copy monks exactly, but to glean their approach of training the mind and soul, then apply it in more hectic circumstances. Through this lens, the differences between a monastery and modern society become less stark. Both revolve around grappling with human nature, managing desires, fears, and attachments. The monk's environment may be cloistered, but the challenges, loneliness, doubt, or boredom, are universal. That's why their insights can resonate across centuries and lifestyles, guiding us toward calm and purpose even in a hyperactive world. The modern mind. Why we're so distracted. Smartphones, social media, and the 24-hour news cycle provide instant gratification and endless stimuli. On one hand, these tools link us globally, offering convenience and innovation. On the other, they can erode focus, feed anxiety, and foster a perpetual fear of missing out. Monks from earlier eras faced fewer external triggers but still observed that the human mind is inherently restless, prone to daydreams, cravings, and fears. Buddha labeled this tendency the monkey mind, jumping ceaselessly from branch to branch. In our environment, the monkey mind is fed by algorithms and notifications designed to capture and hold attention. We feel compelled to respond to every beep, check every email, and remain productive. Yet, productivity often slips into spinning our wheels, drained by mental fragmentation. Monastic tradition teaches that clarity emerges from pausing, simplifying, and focusing on the present. Our addiction to incessant stimulation blocks that clarity, amplifying stress and dissatisfaction. Learning from monks means adopting strategies to tame mental scatter, like setting digital boundaries, embracing mindful breaks, or dedicating specific times for reflection. While we can't entirely escape notifications or tasks, we can choose how to engage them. Each deliberate pause or choice to turn off a device echoes monastic discipline, reclaiming the power to direct our attention rather than letting the world direct it for us. Simplicity and routine, foundations of focus. Monastic life thrives on simplicity. Few belongings, deliberate routines, and a clear schedule anchored by meditation or prayer. This simplicity reduces mental clutter, letting monks concentrate on cultivating peace and insight. Today, we accumulate physical and digital clutter, closets overflowing with clothes, inboxes stuffed with old emails, device home screens packed with apps. Overwhelming choice and visual noise can fatigue the mind, fueling procrastination or decision paralysis. Take a cue from monks by systematically removing non-essentials. This might mean curating your belongings to what you truly value, unsubscribing from endless email lists, or limiting social media to certain hours. Such conscious simplification frees mental bandwidth, making space for deliberate action rather than reactive busyness. Another monastic hallmark is routine, a predictable rhythm for meals, chores, study, and rest. While modern schedules can be erratic, creating basic rituals like a consistent wake-up time or dedicated focus blocks for work grounds us. These routines don't stifle spontaneity. They free us from constant decision-making about mundane details. By weaving pockets of structured calm into your day, whether a morning mindfulness session or a simple meal without scrolling your phone, you echo the monastic principle of centering life around purposeful intervals of attention. That centeredness can be a vital antidote to the usual mania of everyday living. Mind training, meditation, and mindfulness. Both ancient monks and modern practitioners recognize that meditation is a direct route to taming the restless mind. For monks, daily meditation anchors them in the present, cultivating a watchful awareness that reveals how thoughts and emotions arise. That same capacity to notice mental shifts without being jerked around by them is immensely valuable in a digital age rife with temptations. A typical beginner's practice might be a 10-minute daily meditation focusing on breath or body sensations. Each time a thought intrudes, planning dinner, recalling an argument, you gently note it and return to the focal point. Over days and weeks, you develop mental stamina. Monastic life often extends this practice to hours of silent sitting, but even short sessions can sharpen focus, reduce stress, and build emotional resilience. Mindfulness, a related concept, extends meditative attention to routine tasks, walking, eating, listening. Instead of letting your mind drift, you anchor it in real-time experience. Why is this so potent? If your mind is accustomed to switching tasks or looking for the next notification, it has scant ability to rest in stillness. Meditation reteaches the mind to pause, observe, and let go. It's not about forcing calm, but discovering it beneath mental clutter. In the modern swirl of demands, These methods shine as portable strategies for regaining composure and perspective anytime, anywhere. Compassion and service, expanding beyond the self. Monastic wisdom highlights that compassion toward oneself and others isn't a luxury, but a cornerstone of balanced living. Ancient monks didn't simply meditate in caves. They often engaged in communal chores, charity, and mentorship, seeing all beings as interconnected. This ethos can transform modern life as well, shifting our focus from incessant self-improvement to community well-being. Compassion in action might be volunteering, helping a colleague catch up on a project, or simply offering a listening ear. While it might sound like an added burden to an already crowded schedule, acts of kindness actually nourish emotional resilience. They counter the selfish anxieties that can breed loneliness or competition. By caring for others, you also ease your own mental burdens, fostering empathy, gratitude, and mutual support. Moreover, compassion extended inward helps reduce burnout. Monks remind us that you can't pour from an empty cup. Self-care and rest are integral. Instead of chasing perpetual achievement, compassionate self-awareness encourages pacing, acknowledging stress, and seeking balance. This synergy of outward kindness and inward gentleness breaks the cycle of isolation or exploitation sometimes seen in highly competitive environments. In short, applying monastic compassion can rekindle a sense of human connection that modern life, for all its connectivity, often lacks. Ethical frameworks guiding today's choices. Buddhist monks adhere to ethical precepts like refraining from harm, stealing, lying, sexual misconduct, or intoxication. These aren't arbitrary rules, but tools for mental clarity and peaceful coexistence. Modern life, however, wrestles with ethical gray zones, social media misinformation, consumer exploitation, and environmental strains that can intensify stress or guilt if we act heedlessly. Translating monastic ethics to contemporary challenges might involve reevaluating your digital conduct. Are you spreading half-truths or fueling negativity? Alternatively, you might examine your purchasing habits, considering fair trade options or reduced waste. This isn't about moral perfection, but alignment with values. Such alignment fosters integrity, which in turn reduces mental friction. When you act in ways consistent with your core beliefs, you experience less turmoil and more self-respect. Monks show that ethical discipline sets a foundation for a calm mind. Guilt, fear, or self-doubt often stem from acting against one's conscience. By adhering to a personal code, like mindful social media use, responsible consumption, or honest communication, you cultivate internal harmony. That harmony is a stepping stone to deeper mental peace and a sense of trust in oneself. Buddha exemplified that genuine serenity emerges when our everyday decisions reflect compassion and truthfulness, bridging monastic clarity with modern moral dilemmas. Fusing monastic insights into your modern schedule. The final challenge is blending monastic principles into a day already packed with errands, responsibilities, and digital chaos. Start small with micro practices. Maybe you begin your morning with a 5-minute meditation or end your evening by journaling a gratitude list. Turn mundane tasks, like dishwashing or commuting, into mindful moments. Switch your phone to silent for short intervals to mimic monastic quiet. Over time, these mini habits accumulate, forging a robust framework of calm amidst commotion. Another tactic is setting intentional boundaries. Block out time for uninterrupted work, device-free family dinners, or offline weekends. Such boundaries mirror monastic retreats, granting your mind respite from perpetual stimulation. While your environment isn't a cloister, you can establish pockets of retreat at home or in nature, using them as mental refresh zones. Finally, consider a supportive network. Monks rely on sanghas, communities of fellow practitioners, for encouragement and accountability. You might join a meditation group, a mindful living forum, or connect with friends who share similar aspirations. These relationships fuel motivation, as you see others balancing modern demands with ancient wisdom. The synergy from these connections helps you stay consistent, turning monastic insights into lived experiences rather than fleeting ideals. Monastic life and modern reality might appear worlds apart, but the underlying human quest to reduce suffering and find deeper meaning remains the same. By integrating monk-inspired mindfulness, ethical clarity, and community support, you can transform daily chaos into a pathway for spiritual and emotional growth. Which principle resonates with you most? Setting boundaries, embracing compassion, or crafting a mindful routine? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if this exploration sparked new insights, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Monk Mindset, for more ways to merge ancient wisdom with contemporary challenges. May your journey be calm, purposeful, and ever-evolving.